We told you we'll be having a conversation on the many related comments and concerns that have been expressed by academia, but also former ministers of education and even some notable advocates in civil society about the public universities bill, which is at the draft stage, currently sent to academia for them to have some scrutiny and also contribute to have some consensus before it's sent to Parliament as a bill. But we'll have that great interaction with a former Deputy Minister of Education, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, and Kojo Jansen is getting ready for that. But we also know that on the sidelines, we've had some warnings, especially on the front page of the Ghanaian Times from the Meteorological Agency, telling us that the rains are likely to pour in, and it would also have implications on how ready we are as a people, especially in the capital and elsewhere. If we look at what has happened over the last week in Kumasi when the rains and the floods tend to come in. And so let's get straight to the point. We have to speak to the experts on the field, and senior meteorologist is on the line, Michael Paddy. Michael Paddy works with the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Good morning to you, Mr. Paddy.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, and I'm having a picture right here giving us indication of excessive flood waters. We're already getting footages as we've recorded over the last 48 hours, if not the last 72 hours. But is it a greater indication that we're likely to see more rains?
Thank you very much. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my greetings to your listeners. Yes, it's quite true that these conditions are going to persist from now. We have entered into the rainy season over the southern sector of the country. So we will be seeing frequent rain from now onwards. That is why we have to come out and caution the public on how to prepare in order to save life and property.
Now, there's a greater concern that we seem not to be prepared. But how also is your agency preparing as the citizenry?
For the Ghana Meteorological Agency, we are well prepared in terms of equipment to monitor the atmosphere and come out to the public in terms of what is going to happen weather-wise. We issued a seasonal forecast earlier on telling the public that the rains are going to start at this time over southern Ghana. So we have done our part. We've communicated with the National Disaster Management, that's NADMO. We've communicated with them. It seems they are also trying to get some information to the public. So for Meteo, we have also tried to improve our services by giving out timely updates on the weather, apart from the routine forecast that we've been given. So Meteo is quite alert and ready to help the public.
There's currently an ongoing concern about areas usually that would not have had seen residual flood waters now getting flooded subsequently just after some few millimeters of rain. Why is that? Especially related to the capital in Ghana and then also the Ashanti Regional Capital of Kumasi.
Yes, I think more research needs to be done. In terms of rain, what we've measured has not even reached the extent of causing so much destruction like we are hearing now. Places just reported about 70 millimeters and 50 millimeters, and this is what has caused the destruction unlike what we experienced sometime in June 3rd, which was around 240 millimeters. So we have not reached that extent, but still destruction is being caused. So maybe we can attribute it to anthropogenic causes, which means maybe it will be our character or something. Now, if you look around, we could see people littering around. They throw plastic around, rubbish into the gutters. So when it rains and the rain is becoming so much, the water will not get anywhere to pass. And Accra is quite um, susceptible to this kind of situation because if we look around, there are mountains surrounding us, and if it should rain heavily over the mountains, the low-lying area, that's Accra, becomes the the ending point of the rain, the water, to just run down and come to us. So sometimes it might not even rain heavily over Accra itself.
Yeah.
If it should rain heavily over the mountains, then Accra suffers.
Right. Usually, what has been the pattern of history? Yesterday, I was reviewing some literature, and it looks like, just like you indicated, we've had consistently some heavy flooding over the decades, which have exceeded over the 200 millimeter mark. But now you're giving us the indication that we're just hovering around the 50, 70 just those gauges, and already we're witnessing all these. What is the pattern of history, and what would have been the highest records that would have engendered this level of flood?
Well, as we have just started the rain, we still expect amount to rise to more than 100 millimeters in a single rain. Recently, last week we experienced such situation over Axim, whereby Axim reported about 122 millimeters in a single rain. Okay. So that situation would be climbing slightly to be gaining latitude, which means from now going it will be moving slightly into the inland. So we still expect rain amount to increase.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We've been speaking to Mr. Michael Paddy. He works with the Meteorological Agency. Now, they are already expecting more rains, especially in the coming days, if not the coming weeks, because of the pattern of monitoring of the weather they are undertaking. But we also know that instrumental in all these are hydrological engineers, but also various forms of engineers, either in planning or in building, who tend to monitor the situations and the way the development of the capital and elsewhere across the country is undertaken. We have on the line the sanitary engineer for the Gamma Sanitation and Water Project, Gabriel Eggman, and engineer Gabriel Eggman is joining us on the line. Good morning to you. Now, if we have to look at the pattern of development, more recent years, could that be an attributable cause for the minutes of rains which are resulting in the floods, which usually are not receding as quickly as we would have seen over the years? Engineer Eggman?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. So
please, I didn't get the question. Can you come again?
I was asking you, what could be some of the causative factors for us seeing just minutes of rain in millimeters or in measurement that are seeing flood waters not receding, unlike we had been witnessing over the decades?
Yes. Okay. There are quite a number of reasons for this event. Basically, and you notice that this happens a lot in urban areas and city centers, where at times you get to some element of poor planning and then poor drainage system Also, we can say improper disposal of refuse, even into drains. Let me say limited or lack of, desilting, which chokes drains. And also, we can't take the enforcement out of the equation, improper enforcement of laws also impact on some of these activities. Also, we have low-lying areas, especially some low-lying areas in Accra, also because of that, you could have some flooding. So there are quite a number of causes, and it is quite integrated, all over because of the nature of our situation. Poor planning, people are able to build, erect structures anywhere, build in waterways, do not respect the buffer and the allowances made according to the normal plan for the cities and for towns and areas like that. So these all contribute to the flooding that arises from a little bit of rainfall.
Yeah, but we also know that your project is expected to have been the buffer, if not more of at least the solution to keep some of the incidences that we're having. Why is it that over the last 2-3 years, for example, from 2015, we've witnessed these number of floods annually, and it looks like anytime the rainy season is approaching, we have to be on high alert?
Yes, the problem is quite wide. Our project is, for projects, they have a lifespan, they have a fixed budget, and then they have certain objectives that it must achieve. So the project is aiming at achieving those objectives. One of the objectives is to assist with flooding in certain areas. So for the areas that are part of our objectives, we are tackling those areas. But the problem goes beyond just those areas that we are tackling. We need to tackle this in a more integrated manner, where we have, a total plan, solid waste, liquid waste, drainage, integrated, such that we can plan for the structures, plan for non-structural measures, plan for law enforcement, plan for priority interventions, whereby agencies and departments that are assigned to do or undertake drainage or undertake the solid waste or undertake liquid waste services will do that and will be resourced enough to do it. So it's not that the know-how is not there, but at times the resources, lack of enforcement gives us or makes us vulnerable to some of these issues or flooding disasters. And therefore, we need to really put measures in place. For example, if you take Accra like this, if we want to assess, even given the situation or given the way we've built up our cities with all sorts of illegal structures all over the place, if we want to even do a drainage system, we need to even have wider, big, huge drains to accommodate all the volumes of water that's flowing and to accommodate the rubbish and the solid waste that are dumped into the drain. But if we do that, then it means you will have a drain as wide as maybe 300 meters wide. And we cannot continue doing that. We need areas where, for example, if it rains heavily, the water doesn't need to flow into the drains and flow away. We could have areas where they are quite low lying and they can soak the pressure of a lot of water. So what happens is that the water can go and stay there. We call them sustainable urban drainage systems. And it will be like a sump and just hold the water for a while and release the water slowly, and discharge them slowly into drains for it to move. But we don't have such areas. And such areas, when it's open, people go and erect structures there, and then it kills the purpose. You see, so we need a more integrated approach to this problem. And we say we are only going to build drains and it will not solve the problem. If you are closing drains, you have to address issues of solid waste as well and the like.
Engineer Engman, it looks like we seem to have the textbook knowledge about what we need to do. We seem to have the right expertise, but it's just to put the mind at work and get the right things done. And I'm thinking, in the UK, I'm told, I haven't been to the UK before, but I'm told that it rains consistently even for a week. And Kojo Yankson was even telling me the other day, if that is the form of weather they have to live with, why is it that we just can't just adapt or adopt it and then adapt it into our environment?
I mentioned about law enforcement and certain policies. We have to, you see, it is more integrated in nature. If one aspect of a plan doesn't work, there's a rippling effect, on the other sectors. So that is why, for me, it must be tackled holistically. The agencies, the departments that are handling the various areas of solid waste, liquid waste, drainage, planning, must all come together. And then the enforcement as well. So it's a whole integrated issue. And we must take a concerted effort, and we must have the will to do it, to plan it, and to make sure that we implement it. And not let the whole plan be like, a white elephant, because I believe there are so many plans, but probably we have not integrated these plans in a concerted effort and manner to get this issue addressed once and for all. And that is where our challenge as a nation is. We need to really get this focused. And you see, because there's been a backlog of these issues, at a point in time, you have to address the immediate issues, and then, so the short-term issues, and whilst you put the medium-term and long-term in perspective. If you want to really sit down and just plan everything together, time is not waiting, for you. Things are happening, the rain is falling, it doesn't wait for your plans to be ready. So you have to address the short-term whilst you, put in measures to tackle the medium and the long-term plan. So that's where we have to get it right. As for the know-how, we know it, but if we don't play as a team, we may end up either spending too much money and not making too much progress.
And not getting it right.
Solving the issue at all.
It's quite unfortunate. You give me no hope at all. It means next year I still have to battle through this year's and be ready for another flooding period within the next year. But
next year is also part of the short term. So we have to look at the short term measures once we are planning for the medium and long term. Because it is too short between now and next year to address all the issues as far as drainage is concerned. It's not feasible. Because you see, even if you have a good short-term plan, you want to implement, a structure, a drainage structure that can solve a lot of issues. You need some time. You need to compensate people, move people. A lot of engagement has to go on to get people to appreciate the problem and appreciate the solution to the problem, and also be able to accommodate and say, okay, let's move from here to here and allow this, project to work. It takes a lot of work and a lot of planning, a lot of social input must go into it in order to get this issue addressed. It's not just a structural issue. I mean, one can just build, I can just design a pipe right now and I'm done. But the other force, the other stakeholders need to all buy into the plan. It's not simple.
All right, thank you very much.
Doable.
Of course it's doable, but it's the commitment that we don't seem to be having if you look at what the signs are. But thank you very much, Gabriel Engman. Mr. Gabriel Engman is an engineer and helping us do some great discussions. He's currently the sanitary engineer for the Gamma Sanitation and Water Project. Well, we have to take a break from here, but again, we'll bring you a sneak peek into a conversation that we hope to have with the former Deputy Minister of Education, also Member of Parliament for North Tong, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. And we're speaking on the concerns being raised widely in academia about the Public Universities Bill, which is on a draft stage, and ultimately we want to get some insight into all that. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.